We support ICE and law enforcement. I support ICE. You're gonna punch me?
Yes.
And you're gonna get in trouble for that.
Okay.
I support ICE and law enforcement.
Yourself.
Whoa.
It's not okay for young people to hit each other or assault each other because of expressing an opinion that upsets you. Up first, guys, we've got to talk about this really insane story that all started with a viral clip, and it's immediately become seized into our culture war and the ongoing debates about ICE and immigration enforcement. But I think there's a darker element here. There's a darker twist, and it concerns an instance where a young man who's got to be 17 or 18 years old, he's still in high school, was punched in the face by another student, or punched, at least. I don't know if it was in the face, all on camera and filmed. And he was punched because he was holding up a sign that demonstrated support for ICE. And the person who punched him has now become a hero with many on the online left, including the likes of streaming star Hasan Piker. We're going to go through it all and kind of unpack what it says about just how lost many of us are in terms of seeing our common humanity and decency and civility and free speech. First, though, let's just actually watch the clip. It is a little disturbing. First, here's the local news headline. Viral video purportedly shows student holding pro-ICE sign getting punched by another student at Lake Zurich High School. This is all going down in Illinois, the suburbs of Chicago. Now, let's take a look at this clip that it went super viral over the weekend. The actual incident happened on Thursday. Let's watch the clip.
Punch me?
Yes.
And you're gonna get in trouble for that.
Okay.
Whoa. We support ICE and law enforcement. I support ICE.
That's crazy, bro.
I don't know what's crazy about this.
Yeah, I'm going to punch you.
You're gonna punch me?
Yes.
And you're gonna get in trouble for that.
Okay.
Whoa. Chill out, bro. I stand for my beliefs. I'm gonna peacefully stand here and support my beliefs. I support ICE and law enforcement.
Yourself.
Whoa. That's against school code. No swearing in the school.
They're on their way there right now. We uplifted.
It's not a fight. It's an assault, but okay.
I support ICE and law enforcement. Am I allowed to stand here?
You are allowed to.
Okay. I'm allowed to have this sign too, like everyone else? Okay. I just stand for my beliefs, you know, like this is okay.
So the context here is that the other students were having an anti-ICE walkout or protest, and he supports ICE and supports the immigration crackdown, so he held up a sign that says, "I support ICE." And look, this is messed up. It's not okay for young people to hit each other or assault each other because of expressing an opinion that upsets you. That is not acceptable behavior for anyone, and is not allowed in the real world, so certainly can't be allowed in schools. And the student who punched him is also, a minor, so I don't think we need to ruin their life or ruin their, unleash a deluge of harassment and threats towards that guy either, but he's not a hero. He clearly should be disciplined and face consequences, very serious consequences for this behavior, and we should be educating young people and teenagers about how to coexist with people despite differences in opinion. Not lash out or resort to physical assault because somebody's holding a sign that hurts your feelings. That's how normal adults, whether they agree with ICE or disagree, whether they think Trump's gone too far, I certainly think he's gone too far in some ways when it comes to the immigration issue, or whether, they love it. Either way, I'd feel the same way about the situation if it was somebody holding up a abolish ICE sign that got punched. That's not what we do here, folks, in this country. And when you support that kind of thing, or you think it's funny or amazing, you're actually rejecting and attacking a pretty fundamental part of who we are as Americans, which is this idea that we live in a society where we settle our differences with ballots, not bullets, and with arguments, not assault. But because I guess they've identified and coded this young man who held up the sign as a MAGA troll, which he may well be, it doesn't really matter to me. And they've identified this kid as, oh, he's a hero. We have been treated to absolutely unhinged reactions online that we're going to go through. First, though, do make sure subscribed if you aren't yet. Do hit the like button, and do consider becoming a channel member if you appreciate my takes and my independent analysis. It's really easy to blow up on YouTube if you just pander to the left or the right, but I call out extremism across the board. So call me PBS if you like, but I need support from viewers like you. Hit the join button, become a channel member. I'm getting close to 500 members. I would love to cross that threshold. We just need a couple dozen more people to sign up. You'll unlock early access to ad-free episodes with no annoying YouTube mid-rolls, interrupting me mid-sentence. I disable those just for the members. So do hit the join button if you can, if you want to support what we're doing here. But regardless, thanks for being here. And let's go over some of the unhinged reactions and commentary about this issue online. Of course, this is my shock face. Hasan Piker, the left-wing streamer, you know him, we talk about him semi-regularly here, who openly supports designated terror groups, but somehow gets these glossy profiles and all these establishment progressive media outlets because they find him attractive or whatever. The gay leftist writers find him hot, so he gets these glossy profiles. Anyway, he celebrated this assault, saying, quote, calling it beast mode wokeism in a tweet that's received over 2 million views. Oh yeah, it's beast mode woke. You're saying that's awesome that a minor got punched for expressing his opinion. You realize that if you are cheering on the assault of a minor, you're sick in the head, right? Like that actually makes you a dangerous person who clearly doesn't understand fundamental American values of coexistence and tolerance and free speech, and probably shouldn't be allowed within 1,000 yards of a school. Really. How is this person one of the leading sources of information and political analysis for young people in this country? Yet he's so fundamentally hostile to the things that make this country great, like freedom of speech, like the First Amendment. And whether you love his message or hate his message, first off, he's just like 17, okay? So even if he was holding up a sign that said something stupid, okay? They're mushy-brained adolescents. You shouldn't be destroying them for life or assuming they're an evil person because they are holding up a sign. And of course, he's just saying, I support ICE, which that's a position lots of people agree with, and it's certainly a debatable proposition, but it's not like he's holding up something truly ridiculous on his sign. Even if he was, it's just a freaking teenager. Have y'all ever spoken to a teenager? Haven't y'all ever been a teenager? Do you remember that we were dumb? And so and I feel the same way about the kid who committed the assault. Like, he absolutely has to be held accountable and face serious discipline for this, but he is also not like an irredeemable piece of crap evil human for the rest of his days just because he got angry and started and assaulted someone at 17. He should have to face the consequences of that, and that's unacceptable. But let's also not act like he's, a 25-year-old grown adult person either. Obviously, these people are still minors, and that's why we need to treat them as such. But instead, you have all these adults on the internet cheering on the assault of a minor and turning the angry teenager who punched someone unprovoked into some kind of like meme or hero. So an Antifa account on Twitter shared an image of this guy that's like stylized and said, "Punch a Nazi." Another person wrote, "I hope this king is having an excellent weekend," with the still of the kid winding up to punch someone. Somebody else, another leftist account on Twitter, wrote, "This kid has 10x more Chad energy than any of those demented looksmaxers." That's like just an irrelevant comparison because okay, he has 10x more what did he say? Alpha energy or something? Chad energy than the looksmaxers. Okay, well, anything is greater than 0. So even if he has just, 1% Chad energy, that's still greater than 0. Like I'm kind of kidding here, but not much of a point to that tweet. Somebody else wrote, "This is the energy we should all aim for this year. Righteous rage translated into punching." And they did that attached to a viral tweet that called this young dude who assaulted someone for words an American hero. I find it strange that any progressive with even 2 brain cells to rub together would think, you know what we need to do? We need to be angrier and more violent and more hostile to people that disagree with us. That will surely win the public over. are y'all okay? Because it seems to me that you guys, at least the far left, tried this like destroy dissent, tried this cancel, attack, demonize everyone who disagrees with us, and it just brought about a massive pendulum swing in the opposite direction. But here you are, you just can't help yourself. More leftist tweets here. Somebody shared the clip of this minor getting punched and said, just wonderful. You are a grown man and you are calling a kid getting punched just wonderful. Sick stuff. And someone else shared it and said, the kids are all right. They're actually clearly not. Like, we just could not have more different takes on this. Now, some people try to do the dumb whataboutist game where they just like point out how the right wing does stupid crap sometimes. And so like, haha, but that's not a defense of your own actions. I don't know how to understand, like, how do I explain kindergarten level morality to grown adults? We tell little children, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't care if he started it, Billy. You still can't do that. But grown-ass adults are out here in these digital streets not getting it. So, for example, one of them said, if this kid was punching an illegal immigrant, the right would have started a GoFundMe for his legal defense, and he'd be in the Oval Office within hours getting his pictures taken with the morbidly obese president. So, one, this is obviously hyperbolic and probably not true, but let's say it was true. Let's say that actual absurd scenario, like the right really was so crazy that they would cheer on a vigilante student punching an illegal immigrant for no reason just because he didn't like what he was saying. Your argument is, so we should be like that too. That's not a good argument. That's really not a good argument. What you're basically saying is, well, they're evil, so let's be evil too. Actually, so you're just, then no matter what, evil wins. And you're admitting that you're just becoming just as bad as the thing you're supposed to be fighting against. So how are you better? How are you fighting it at all? Right? Another person wrote, we should start a GoFundMe for this kid, the way conservatives do when a woman calls a child the N-word. Oh my God. And he's referencing, I think it was like a Cinnabon or one of those pretzel places like an Auntie Anne's, or there was this customer, or sorry, not a customer, an employee, a white woman who called someone the N-word and said some racist stuff to them, and the clip went viral. And yes, it is true that some far-right people on the internet fundraised for the woman. And I covered it, and I talked about how crazy that is and how evil that is, and like how you don't actually have to support terrible people just because of the culture war. But these people are like, well, let's just do it too. No. I don't understand how anybody's brain can be this broken. I mean, it is Twitter, so what else do you expect? But I would have thought that like it involving a minor getting punched would be a line for some people. But there really is no standards, no decency, no decorum, no civility of any kind left at this point for some people. And I really think we need to see the light, because this is not okay. We cannot be, I mean, because this online interaction, right, or this online engagement in this situation, it will probably encourage copycats. More kids will be like, oh my God, if I punch some MAGA kid in my class in the face, I'm going to become like a internet celebrity. Hasan might talk about me on his stream. Oh my, and again, these are dumb, mushy brain teenage boys. And so they do stupid shit regardless, but especially they do stupid shit when you create this terrible incentive structure and encourage and laud their bad behavior. But yeah, just keep doing this. You're all doing amazing. You're not at all having a destructive and corrosive impact on civil society in the next generation. Absolutely disgraceful and shameful stuff. But that just means it's a day that ends in Y on the cesspool that is social media. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't yet. Do consider becoming a channel member to support decency and civility and debate rather than whatever the hell all of that is. Hit the join button or the link in the description, and we'll leave it there for that one.